All right. Good morning. We are here and we are ready to go. I'm going to count you in. I'm going to do 3, 2, 1. You're going to inhale and exhale, inhale and exhale, inhale and exhale. Regulate the emotions and notify the rest of the brain regions that we are here to learn and work out today. 3, 2, 1. Now, one more for good measure. Coming back in frame. Good morning again. I am Dr. Donna Louise Thomas-Rodgers, daughter of Leslie Darnell Thomas, granddaughter of Arthur Jethro Evelyn II, and great-granddaughter of Levi Thomas. Welcome to your morning mental workout. As always, grab you a nice little bottle of Wasserflasche, is a water bottle in German, agua, water, liquid gold, and ensure that you have it by your side because you are going to be doing a mental workout today. If you happen to hear my stomach growling, I am in the process of doing a lot of veterans medical appointments, and so today I have to go and get my blood work done, and I'm going to be leaving it live and going to get that done. And it was 11 hours worth of me not eating by the time I go, so I need to get my snack this morning. All right. Today's topic is leverage experts. Today is live number 674 consecutive days of me being live, and we are going over the 42nd principle of real leadership in chronological order, and it is leverage experts. The Dr. Donna quote to kick us off is, real experts are worth leveraging. And what I'd like to say is real experts, not fexperts, and that's a fake expert, and that's the Dr. Donna dictionary. So I'm not talking about people without credentials. I'm not talking about people who have podcasts. I'm not talking about thought leaders who just think and talk. I'm talking about people who have real expertise, real boots on the ground, real experience, and they know what they're talking about, and they can tell you and guide you, and you are going to get the results. Good morning. You are going to get the results that they say are possible. So when I say leverage experts, I mean actual real experts. Okay, so to start with, we're going to talk about the real leader, not real leader, the neuroscience behind this. And so that's the brain regions that you use when you are leveraging experts. First up on the scene is the prefrontal cortex. Questions are asked intermittently, not while I am speaking. So if you have a question, you can stay until I go over the first section. And if it is a question with regards to what I'm talking about, I will answer it. If it is not a question regarding leverage experts, then I will not be asking that question. Yep, so stay and I ask questions. I say, do you have questions after each segment? So I actually am an expert. So I actually have an agenda. I'm actually reading my notes. And so there is a process that I go by every day on my lives. All right. So the first brain region that you use when you are leveraging experts is your prefrontal cortex. And so you use the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, and we know that that's from evaluating information from experts, and then you compare it with your existing knowledge and you integrate it into decision making. And so you already have your own information that's located in your hippocampus and your memory library, and you want to expand upon that. So then you go and seek experts. And I always use this example way back in 2015 when I was first starting on social media. I did not know anything about Snapchat. I thought it was stupid. I was like, I'm not going to be vomiting up no damn rainbows. This is dumb. But I went and asked the millennial at the time. I was like, what is this with Snapchat? How do you use it? Explain it to me. And now I have a Snapchat playlist. I got hundreds of videos using Snapchat. Okay, yeah, give me 1 second. I think that says Theodore or the horse. Give me 1 second. And so I asked that person, and I've been using Snapchat lenses ever since, and I use those lenses across multiple playlists. They're located. I have over, good morning, Regina, 12,000 YouTube videos. So what happens is the horse, you can go to my lives playlist and you can look up the hippocampus. Yes, ma'am. You can look up the memory library. So what happens is the hippocampus is located in temporal lobe. It's in the limbic system of the brain, and that's where all your memories are stored. And so it stores everything. So all the skill sets that you currently have, everything that you know is stored in your hippocampus. So when you go to seek expert advice, you're asking someone based upon either having pre-knowledge or no knowledge. And now when you get that information from them, it's going to be stored in your hippocampus. And when you need to use it, there will be an alert from your working memory, which is located in executive function of your brain. It will say, hey, we need this information. And if you just think about a library, you go to a library, you grab the book off the shelf, and then you use the book. So you're going to go to the hippocampus and say, hey, I need information on how to bake a cake. I haven't baked a cake in 2 years. And the hippocampus is going to say, okay, what kind of cake you baking? I'm baking a chocolate cake. Okay, here's all the information for you to be able to bake that chocolate cake. So let me know if that's clear for you, the horse. Okay, next is the ventral medial prefrontal cortex, and it's involved in weighing expert advice against personal values, balancing logic with intuition. And so what happens is if you have cognitive bias or confirmation bias, and most people have that when I start talking to them. So I will tell you this is why you're doing something. I was having a conversation with one of my daughter's clients the other day. She's in a transitional point in her life, and the information that I was telling her was going against her conformity bias and her confirmation bias. And so she couldn't hear me because she was like, well, that goes against what I'm saying. But when you receive new information that makes you uncomfortable, even if it's factually based, what happens is the amygdalas left and right jump in and say, hold up, you're threatening the information that I already have. I'm not going to listen to you because that goes against what I already know, and I'm frightened by what you're saying. But that's the amygdala's job. If your brain is hardwired for negativity bias, you're not going to listen to wise counsel because you don't have access to your prefrontal cortex, because that's where all the logic and reasoning resides. But if you are seeking expert advice, then you have to take that information in and then allow your executive function in the prefrontal cortex to understand that information and see if it applies. Good morning, Envy. And then the last part of the prefrontal cortex that's used for leveraging the experts is the orbital cortex. And this helps assess the credibility and reliability of experts. And so you adjust strategies based on feedback. And that's what I do. I'm studying neuroscience. I'm gathering information every single day, using it for neuroprobability and the principles of real leadership, and determining, does this information apply to what I'm doing? And if it does, then I use it. If it does not, then I discard it. So that's what happens when you're using the prefrontal cortex to leverage experts. The next brain region is the anterior cingulate cortex, and this monitor conflicts and errors with expert opinions differ or contradict your personal judgment. So if someone is trying to tell me something and say that, if someone comes up to me and say, Donna, you don't know what the hell you talking about. The amygdalas is your friend, and they're there to make sure that you are safe and that everything is all right. And I'm going to say, okay, and they make the best decisions possible. As soon as they say the amygdala makes the best decision possible for you, I'm going to say, no, they don't. The amygdala's job is to alert you and to tell you how you feel, process it through the insula and the ACC. But if amygdalas start making decisions, those decisions mean that you have shut down access to your inhibition control located in the executive function of your brain, and you're going to do something and you're going to say something that you're going to regret later. So in that instance, I would not listen to that person. Now, somebody has been studying neuroscience in the brain for 40 years, and they give me some new information and update me on Hebb's law or what Cahal and Golgi have done. And they say, oh, well, you know, when they were talking about the dendrites and the staining and the receptors on the axon and the tree and the soma and all, okay, cool. I'm listening to you because that's information that I don't have, and it can be backed by neuroscience. So that's what happens with the ACC, is it's monitoring to make sure that what you're saying is actually something that I need, but again, that is actually factually based. And it also plays a role in cognitive flexibility. So shifting strategies when new expert knowledge is introduced. So whenever I get some new information, I have been saying that there's 6.8 billion adults in the world. Regina said, I don't know if that's right. I checked, it's 5.9. I say, that's why I say approximately 6 billion. If you add people 15 and above, because in some countries, if you're 15 and you're working, that means that you're an adult. That number puts you at 6.2. So my cognitive flexibility and my executive function allowed me to make that adjustment. And I have no issue with apologizing when I'm wrong. That's one of the 74 principles of real leadership. The next brain region is the temporal parietal junction and the posterior superior temporal sulcus. So the TPJ and the PSTS. So both are crucial for perspective taking and social cognition. And it allows leaders to understand where the expert is coming from and to interpret nonverbal cues, tone, and credibilities. So when you're looking at somebody, remember 90% or more of what people are saying is actually what they're doing. So assess the nonverbals and make sure that all of that is aligning. So if somebody say, yeah, let me tell you, all right, I got some brain information. Hold up, you might not want to trust that brain information because ain't no reason for you to be looking over your back while somebody is talking to you about the brain. Exit stage left. Look for an exit while they're looking over their shoulder. Next is the amygdala and the insula. And the amygdala influences emotional responses such as trust or skepticism towards experts. And the insula processes gut feelings and uncertainty, helping leaders recognize when they need outside expertise. So what happens is when you come across me, and I had a live yesterday on TikTok, and it was Envy and I there for the most part, because I was talking about the brain, and people was looking for a dopamine fix, and I wasn't that fix for them for yesterday. So people was like, nah, I don't trust it. And then as Kevin mentioned when we were in the live, he was asking, well, is this a cult? So the gut will kind of, you got to trust your gut when you're listening to your prefrontal cortex. But if you are allowing your amygdala to run your brain, which means you have a strong amygdala and a weak prefrontal cortex, the amygdala is going to say, don't listen to them. We having fun. We need a dopamine fix. Let's scroll through social media. So what I'm saying is going to be wise counsel, and that goes against how you feel. So in that instance, you're not listening to the right gut. You're listening to the wrong region of your brain, which is why you can be in this very bad habit, basal ganglia doom loop. So you want to actually listen to your gut when your prefrontal cortex is very strong and sound, because it will be able to process whatever information it is coming to you in the way that it needs to be processed. Next is the hippocampus. And so the hippocampus, as I mentioned at the beginning for the horse person that asked to repeat that, is that it stores and retrieves prior experiences with experts, and it also supports pattern recognition. Have I seen this kind of expertise or advice before? What were the results? And as Kevin mentioned earlier, late last week, you haven't seen this before. Regina has said this too. How do you process this? I don't even have a frame of reference. But what happens is when you are learning something new, I didn't have a frame of references of physics, but I had to get one real quick because I failed my test twice in my class. So I had to get really good. Like, ooh, I ain't got no reference to this. Ooh, I got a reference now. I'm failing. So I need to seek some expert wise counsel in order for me to be able to pass this test. So if you have had negative experiences with experts, I'm 99% sure you were talking to a expert and not an expert. And so that's why you're like, nah, I figured out myself. I ain't about to be asking them because they don't know what they're talking about. So here's the thing that I do with any expert, and this is Dr. Donna doing it. You can do whatever you want to vet people, trust but verify Ronald Reagan, is I go to people's LinkedIn. I don't care if you are, I find you on social media platform and you have your link tree and you got all your little links and click, 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 click. I'm going to LinkedIn. And if you're famous, I'm going to Wikipedia. I'm going to Google the shit out of you to find out if you are who you say you are. I made $75 million in 90 seconds. Okay, cool. Where is that at? Let me see that. Yeah, I've been doing this for 30 years. You only 37. How you been doing this for 30 years? Really? Because people, they do that funny math too. That's why I tell people 80% of what I've done is on LinkedIn. Go check it out. And the rest of it is verifiable. If I tell you I now have 12,000 YouTube videos, all you got to do is go to the homepage of YouTube. Bam, 12,000 videos are sitting there. I tell you I just hit 18 billion views on Jiffy. Guess what you can do? Go to my website, click on social media, click on Jiffy, and there it is. Yeah, you're correct, Nola. So if you do famous people on LinkedIn, that is interesting too, because that's basically the online resume. And I know AI is writing shit and everything else, but go and see the job. You still had to have a job. You still had to have the years. You can see gaps in performance. You get to see degrees and all of that. You will find out a lot about the experts when you go to LinkedIn. And next is, and so my point is, you trust but verify. And so don't just go by, oh, and that's one thing. I redid the website. No testimonials. I haven't had testimonials on my website since 2012 because you can beg for a testimonial and you can ask everybody, hey, just can't you grab me a testimonial? So I need some, because I need some credibility. And we work with all these companies and everything else. I teach personal accountability. So it wouldn't matter if there were 55 million testimonials on my website. What that got to do with you? What they got to do with you? You don't know those people. You don't even know if they're real people. I could have made them up myself. You have no idea. So unless you're hearing it for the person's mouth, which Nola and I will be doing a live later today for her. We're doing the starting on Instagram with her going through the 74 principles of real leadership, and she's going to be explaining how she wasn't doing none of them as my child, and then not one of them. And when she finally started using them, things for her started to change, especially for somebody with 3 mental illnesses. That's what that's about. But that's because y'all can't see it in me. You can see it in her. But those we call it testing line when I used to go to church. So none of that is there. You go to the website, that's the information there, because this is a personal choice. You got to decide if you're going to live a hijacked amygdala life or if you're going to start using your prefrontal cortex to become a bad mofo too. You don't need to see no pictures of me, no pop-up windows, no scrolling, and none of that. You are there for you so you can start becoming personally accountable. So my point is, if ever you want to find out about somebody and you want to use my method, go to LinkedIn and you're going to find out a lot. You might clutch your pearls, be like, oh my God, I thought this was, and oh, yeah. She is going to make a visual debut, Kevin. She is. And at every top secret security clearance, good morning, Lola, everything in me is like, she's like, I am 22 years old. And I'm like, but you don't understand. Somebody say some shit, because she from the LBGT community and she is stud, and somebody say some shit. Oh my God, I'm going to turn into Liam Neeson on y'all. I'm going to lose my motherfucking mind and go ham. And she's like, no, I can be online. I got videos. I've been in challenges. I'm like, okay, all right. Y'all, I will, listen, I will find you. Say some shit this evening on IG. Y'all go, Dee from the D go pop up. Y'all ain't met her yet. Nobody in 2000 and nothing ain't seen her. I packed her up in the 90s and put her in a box, but I will take this motherfucking wig off and yeah. So she making the debut, and holy help anybody that say something. Yeah. So I'm telling you, I'm showing it. Is she? Oh, yeah. So and this is all because of Kevin. So Kevin gonna be like, what did I do? How I get in this? So I challenged Kevin to do something behind the scenes, and now I'm challenging myself to go all my stuff that I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm like, how you gonna go tell him to do something, and then you got your whole list of what you're not about to do? So from this point forward, all the stuff that I say, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing nothing illegal or immoral. Let's be clear. But these other things that I was like, no, I'm like, no, you're gonna do it the real leader way. You about to do all this, and you go do it the real leader way. So yes, she will be on Instagram lives going forward with me when I have them, so that she can, because y'all can't see it. I'm too far away from it. But now you got somebody that just started using it within the last couple of years, and so she can explain it better to y'all. She was like, I told her, you my worst student. Worst student. Teachers know, Virginia, don't teach your children. Don't ever have your children in your class, because they're the worst students ever. So she is by far my worst student, but then she is by far my best student as well. So anyway, hippocampus does all of that. So check out the experts yourselves. Final thing is mirror neuron system. Engage during learning by observing experts, helping leaders model behaviors, techniques, and problem-solving approaches. And so what I would like to say with this mirror neurons is that it's not cloning. Kevin, you have said this. You get on live, you get some information, you finesse it, you hookism it, and then you put it on your social media so the people that have chosen to follow you can get the message. So I have no problem with you being empowered by what I've said and go do it your way. That's why if anybody's taking any of the video challenges, even though the video challenges are the same, nobody's video that they produce, whether it's turnaround risk, poll question, turnaround challenge, nobody's video is the same. But if I were a Fexpert, everybody would have to sit, you'd have to have on a blue shirt, and you'd have to say it like this and do it exactly like that. And then I would say, look at all my Dr. Donna clones. Look at all of them. Everybody dressed alike and everything. See, this is what makes me wonderful. No, that's not. No cloning over here. So when you're mirror neuroning and you're watching it, you're taking away the information and the behavior, but not the whole clone. I'm going to dress like you. I'm going to talk like you. I'm going to curse like you. No, that's not what this is. So you're mirroring personal accountability. So you make up your bed every day. You keep your house clean. You're physically fit. You're healthy as you could possibly be. You are taking withdrawals from the hippocampus vagus neurons every single day, and you going off to go be a bad mofo and hold the people around you personally accountable. That's what you're mirroring, but you're not going to be. And I hate people dressing like me. I remember doggone Simone Walker ass went and got my outfit from the Gap after Christmas. I never wore that outfit back to school again after that. Where you get that from? She gonna come to school the next day with the outfit on, y'all, and sit behind me and account like I didn't just have the outfit on the day before her. Get out of here. And Elaine asked at Frito-Lay going to get my wigs. That's why I went and switched beauty supplies. So no, I don't find that imitation is the best form of flattery. No, imitation tells me you don't know who the hell you are. So you're mirroring the principles of real leadership, not mimicking me. Okay, so the summary is this: leverage the experts in a high functioning leadership principle that activates the PFC for critical evaluations. You're using the ACC for monitoring conflict, the TBJ and the PSTS for perspective taking, the amygdala and the insula for trust and emotions, and the hippocampus for memories. Together, these regions support leaders in making wise choices by drawing on specialized knowledge rather than relying on their own perspective. So I'm going to slide out the way so y'all can see my beautiful graphic again here today. And we're getting ready to get into why you would avoid leveraging the experts, but look at the experts. Talk to the actual real experts. So I am an expert, leverage me. So my question to you is, do you have any questions with regarding leveraging experts? If you don't, I have a question for you. How often do you, because remember, one of the 74 principles of real leadership is if you don't know, ask, how often do you actually leverage experts? How often? And over here we are okay with ChatGPT. I tried to use Copilot this morning on Microsoft. I wish these other companies would stop. Literally clicked on it and it said it's not available, error message. And I clicked out and went in 2 more times. I'm like, stop. Just let the new kids on the block do this, because the old heads, they just messing up. So what questions do you have about leveraging the experts? And if you have none, go ahead and type in Q. And then how often do you leverage the experts? Kevin has said every day. Regina said, go on with your bad self, Noah. Yes, she has elevated to the level of being able to be on a live with me. It only took her 365-day challenges. That's all it took. Like, you gonna bleed real leadership. That's what you gonna do. I'm a real leader. She's a little kid. I'm a leader. Yep. Getting in trouble. Why you do that? Don't you know? I know I'm a leader. I got it. She had to be 6 or 7 having to say that. Yes. She's been in basic training her whole damn life. Multiple times a day. Yes. It is okay. If you don't know, ask. I will ask anybody. We had someone come to our home, a plumber. We didn't end up working with him. The price was exorbitant. But I've been seeing people with all these tattoos, whole body tattoo. So I just asked. I said, how did that happen? And I'm seeking to understand. And he said, yeah, one, then you got another one. And what happens is you end up seeing space on your body, and then you just go and get more. And I just wondered about that. So I asked. And he clearly was an expert because his whole body was tattooed. And now I'm going to get a brain tattoo on my head. But I'm not doing anything else because no, I'm definitely, I like exactly how I look now. I'm cool. And that's for a specific reason. And because people can't see your brain. And that's the other thing. On the live yesterday, on the TikTok live yesterday, I said this, and I will continue to say this. The reason why, and I asked Envy this question, and I can ask y'all that later too. But the reason why people neglect their brain is because they can't see it. So you can't see your brain. You're not thinking about you all are thinking about your brain now, but prior to coming in contact with me, that's not something that you was thinking about. You wasn't assessing your brain, whether it was on full or empty every day. You just got up and did stuff and you assessed everything else. But I said that you go to your primary care physician, They do not ask you, how is your brain health? They ask you, are you depressed? Are you sad? Are you thinking about unaliving yourself? Things like that. But they don't say, hey, what's up with your amygdala today? How many people did you cuss out before you got here? Do you have prefrontal cortex strength? What's going on? Is your gut brain sending those 400 messages to your head brain? You don't have that conversation. If you're over a certain age, they start asking you, do you have the Alzheimer's, and telling you to recite the alphabet backwards and all that shit. By then it's way too late. They're not talking to you about your working memory. They don't care. They're not saying, hey, what's up with your basal ganglia? How many bad habits you got on a daily basis? None of that is taking place at all. They definitely aren't talking about Amy and Lala's ass, causing all kind of problems. And so that is the issue. If you can't see your brain, you're not having conversations about it, but everything you do comes from your brain. What do you do? What do you do? Even if you're consulting the experts, are the experts saying, okay, let me consult my prefrontal cortex before I answer that question? Let me make sure that my amygdala, catch an expert on a bad day, and they might have a hijacked amygdala and be very emotional about the answer, and now you don't get the right information because they have brain fog. So what happens? What do? You take the information, but I'm like, what was happening in your brain? Was you in your default mode network right before I asked you this question and you was daydreaming, and so now you didn't really go back to the hippocampus? The information you have that you gave to me, is it old? Is it new? Is it updated? Those are things that I concern myself with now that I don't have no damn screen time. So yeah, but think about that as you're talking to people. And that's why I've started asking y'all to ask people, have brain conversations, because people are not thinking about their brain. They're thinking about the weekend. They think today is Monday Night Football, for those people who indulge in that. But nobody's really thinking about their brain. They're not thinking about what they think about. They're just on autopilot and wanting the brain. And I said this on the live, it's like having a car. Don't change the oil, don't rotate the tires, don't get an air filter, don't get an oil filter, don't change the fluids or nothing else, and then you want that car to run smoothly. So you want your brain to function at this very high functioning level, as you do everything to ensure that it's not. We had an appointment yesterday putting together an island for some people, and they were watching Sunday Night Football, and I was so ready. It took 2 hours and 15 minutes. I was ready to run the hell out of that doggone apartment, because I have not seen live television, and I don't know when. I think since the ReliaQuest Bowl, putting together a bar cart for somebody, and they left the TV on. I'm like, oh God. And I was just like, I can't do this. I cannot. This is to talk about. This is not benefiting my brain. And they didn't pause the commercials. They didn't mute the commercials. They watched the whole thing all the way through until we left. And I'm like, how? You're not even thinking about what this is actually doing to your brain. It was loud. I don't know how they did it. Well, I do know how they did it, because it was dopamine boost, and they've been programmed to do those things. So anyway, when you're asking an expert, before you do, go ahead and trust but verify. Vet them to make sure that they are actually who they say they is, and they got the results that they say they have. And then if you find yourself in the position of not asking an expert, here is why you avoid it. Number one response, winner, chicken dinner. As soon as you avoid something, Amy and Lala, the amygdala is the reason why you're avoiding it. Threat response in the amygdala. So the amygdala can trigger feelings of insecurity or fear of being judged when seeking help from others. I do not care what someone thinks about me asking something that I don't know. I will ask a 4-year-old. I will ask a 94-year-old. If you got the information that I need, I'm asking you. I don't care what it looks like. I don't know, and you do know. And I need to know so I can grow. So I don't really care what it looks like. Now, leaders may interpret asking for expertise as a sign of weakness or incompetence, activating a defensive emotional response. That's what happens. I'm supposed to know and I don't. I can't stand Google products. I hate Google Drive. I hate Google Keep, Google Speak, Google Meet, Google, none of that. Only thing I like about Google is Google. So anytime I had to upload something for an article and the article had to be in a Google Docs, who did I call? My child that been using Google Docs since school started using Google Docs. Hey, put this in here. I don't like turning on my computer because computers are too slow. So all I use my computer for is to update the book log for the book of the week, and that's it. If I got to use my computer, that's why I switched my website over, because I was going to need to use my computer because it wasn't mobile first. So I'm like, okay, well, guess goodbye WordPress, going to GoDaddy, because I'm not going to use it. But I definitely, as soon as they say you need a Google, I have to put everybody's certificate in Google Drive in order to turn into a PDF to send it to y'all for email. And so every time I'm like, I gotta go on Google Drive, but I can do it from my phone, so I do it from my phone. But I promise you, anything Google, I'm going to talk to Nola because I cannot stand the interface. It's unsightly and it's cumbersome and it is fake. It's like the Shin of Microsoft. And I'm sure probably because I started off on Lotus and then went to Microsoft. That's how old I am. And then I started off on Basic when you had to type code way back in the 80s and the 90s. Point is, horrible interface. It's always been unsightly, ugly for me, cumbersome to use, besides the search engine. And so all these other things that came after, I go ask her. So this leads to avoidance when expert input would reduce mistakes and increase efficiency. And so the issue is you have to ask the experts if you needed it. So I needed to submit that. I needed to learn how to use Google Drive and save it. Got to be on Wi-Fi. Just anyway, had to do all that because I needed to be able to give everybody their certificates. So I overrode my hate for the cumbersome interface that is Google in order for you all to be able to get your certificates in both JPEG and PDF formats. Number 2, prefrontal cortex overload, and it's called ego bias. So you have an ego bias. And you don't have to have it all the time, just some of the time. So the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex is responsible for logic and problem solving, but it can be overloaded with self-reliance. So leaders sometimes default to, I can figure this out myself. I watch my amazing offspring do it at appointments all the time because the brain prefers the familiar neural pathway of relying on personal knowledge rather than integrating new, potentially conflicting expert perspectives. And this self-reinforcement creates a cognitive bias against leveraging outside wisdom. I'm 52. I ain't asking nobody at 22. They don't know. They ain't got their frontal lobe. What they know? You don't know until you ask them. You won't know. I've been at this job for 30 years. People used to tell me in the Army, LT, I got more time in the latrine than you got in the Army. Okay, you might, but I got new information. So that old information that you got is outdated. You on analog, I'm on digital. So all you do is you ask and then you take in more data. Be objective is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. So you take in 3 different data points. That means you can ask 3 different experts, take the information that you know, use what you can, and discard what you don't need. Next is the anterior cingulate cortex, and that's the conflict avoidance. And so the ACC detects errors and conflict between ideas. When the expert advice challenges existing beliefs or strategy, the brain experiences discomfort. And instead of embracing the conflict and updating neural wiring, some leaders avoid experts to maintain cognitive ease and prevent the stress of adaptation. So the short-term avoidance undermines long-term growth. So I experienced this. I've had experiences with this. People starting challenges and they saw me online. Oh, I'm ready to do this. This is going to be awesome. This is going to be wonderful. I'm going to do this. And then they have to do the challenge. And then they find out how many defects of character they have. Then they find out how many growth opportunities they have. Then they find out all these things. And now, instead of saying, Dr. Donna, how do I get through this challenge? How do I do this? Instead of that, they start telling me what I'm doing wrong. They start telling me what's wrong with my programs, my processes, and everything else. And this is not for them. And then they quit in the middle of a challenge. And then they get their exit survey. Okay, got it. No problem. Give me what you're doing. And I can always tell the people who are mad because when I say what can be improved, they start personally attacking me and all the things that I need to improve. When I was 2 weeks ago, I was sliced bread and now I ain't shit. So it's an interesting process so that you won't seek wise counsel. I tell people, this is what you need to be working on. This is what you need to be working on. This right here is what you need to be working on. My child, love her to death. And when she first started, and some of you have heard this story, when she first started assembling, I would tell her, we get home from appointments, I'd do an after action review. And she would say, you don't know what you're talking about. You can't put nothing together. And neither can they. And I'm like, okay, but you broke that piece. And that piece was scratched. And you didn't put it in the right thing and you didn't clean up afterwards. So I'm teaching you how to run a viable, profitable business. And you over here talking about, I don't know how to put shit together. What I do know how to do is run a profitable business. I do know how to do that part. I do know how to provide second boss service, 5-star service. And now 1,150 something 5-star reviews later and everything else, obviously she acquiesced, understood. I don't need to know how to put something together to know how to provide great customer service. I don't need to know. I can look. I can look at the manual, I can look at this, and I can say this is how that's supposed to be done. Now you go do it because you got the technical expertise to drill, but I can tell you where the center of the wall is without using a stud finder. Now you gotta go make sure that it ain't a pipe behind there with the stud finder, but that's where the picture goes. That's where the curtains go. And so finally, by the end of 2021, I had her undivided attention, but there was this discourse, this cognitive dissonance, and this conformity bias of her saying, you don't know what you're talking about. You was the manager. And so I'm like, yeah, of 43 facilities. So probably know a little bit something about this one little project that you're doing over here. So the point is that you don't ask for expert advice because you think you're expert. How the expert didn't come packaged like you thought they should look. So I don't know. I don't trust that. What she's saying, with her doctorate in, how long would, but she got an EDD. Yeah, that means educator. Philosophy means you just philosophizing and you're not implementing anything, but I digress. So, I don't know about, and what, did she work at a chip company or something? What's she doing talking about the brain? You know? So then all that works, and the next thing you know is you find yourself still sitting in a precarious situation with 3 neural pathways, but you showed me. You told me and you showed me. Yes, you did. Yes, you actually did. Or you did it with a different expert. So the point is, if you're seeking expert advice, they're probably going to tell you something you don't want to hear. They're probably going to tell you something, and Amy and Lala going to go, what the? No, don't do that. Don't, what they talking about? Because your comfort, you're going to experience discomfort. You're going to experience cognitive overload, and then you're going to be better because of the expert advice. What questions do you have about the 3 regions of the brain and the reasons why people avoid, where we at? Right here. No, right here. Why are you avoiding leveraging an expert? That's what it looks like. That's what a scared brain looks like. It's scientific. Excuse me. So if it's clear, let me know, and we'll go ahead and go to my perspective and then get to this brain bit so I can ensure that I get to my appointment time. And have you ever avoided asking for expert advice? Early on, I did, especially when I was a young second lieutenant. I thought I knew everything, and I thought you were supposed to know everything. And if you asked for expert advice, it meant you were weak. It meant you were weak and you didn't know what you were talking about. So I don't do that anymore. I do not care. I will ask anywhere. Anywhere. All right. And if you are thinking, remember ... with the ellipse, a thinking brain, emoji, Lorenzo, I came a little late. Can you go over leveraging a little more? Leveraging what? The experts? So leveraging the experts means if you don't know something, you ask an expert, and an expert is someone that you have verified through. In my strategy that I use is through LinkedIn, and I scour the internet to make sure that this person is who they say they are. So I don't, because pimps are real good at making it seem like they're not a pimp, but they actually are a pimp. So they will do all of these smoke screens and mirrors, and they'll have everything to make it seem like they know exactly what they're talking about. So I will go back and look at old footage. When did you start? If you say you started in 2010, where is evidence that you started in 2010? If you say you online every day, I'm gonna go through your doggone social media. If you say you post your own post, I'm gonna listen to how you talk, and then I'm gonna read your context in your post to see if that's the same voice. You're like, damn, Dr. Donna, you the CIA over here trying to make sure people are who they say they are. So once I trust and verify that you are, thank God you actually are a pimp. No, I'm not. And then once you verify that they are who they say they are, then you go and seek their expert advice. Always get 3 expert advices from 3 different people. I learned that from Frito-Lay, and then take in the wisest information and apply it to your strategy or your goal that you're using, and make sure that it's customizable. So don't steal their shit and then go make it seem like it's yours, but you have the ability to take it in and then repurpose it for whatever your purpose is. Envious thinking. Yes. So leverage the experts. Ask everybody, and anybody that has expertise can be an expert. If you need to know what the new cartoons are, you're going to have to go talk to a kid, okay? Or somebody with kids. You can't. I didn't know about Doc McStuffins. I had no idea Miss Rachel until we were at some people's houses with Miss Rachel, because I grew up with Captain Kangaroo and Sesame Street and the Great Space Coaster. And only Sesame Street is still on, I think. Okay. Clear. I have avoided leveraging experts mainly because of insecurity, but I also sometimes I'm not even sure what to ask or where to start. And you could start with that, Envy. You could literally start and say that to an expert. I know I need some support. Here is what I'm working on. What are your thoughts? And then the expert, if they are a real expert, will be able to tell you. The last qualifier that I will say, and then I will move to my perspective and get the brain bit done, and we'll get on out of here, is this: while I am not an expert in assembly, and my child told me that many times in 2021, I am an expert enough to know that I can go get the information faster than she can because I'm 29 and a half years older than her. So when an expert is an expert and they are still continuously growing, which is why I didn't stop when I got my doctorate in 2008 and I'm now very tech savvy and I wasn't 15 years ago, is because the experts are still supposed to be updating what's happening. Hence, that's why I'm on ChatGPT. So I'm on Instagram, I'm on Snapchat, I'm a micro influencer on multiple platforms because I need to know and have the pulse of the people. We have people in their 20s on this live, we have people in their 70s on this live. So I need to be able to speak silent generation, the greatest generation, because there's a little bit of them left, baby boomer, X, millennial, Z, and A. The B's just got born. So I need to be multi-generational expert in order to speak and communicate effectively to a varied group of people. And so in order to do that, I have to constantly be learning and growing. So if someone says that they are an expert and they are really an expert, they can say, I did that 10 years ago. Here's what I'm currently working on. But if they stay in that one little lane and that's it, then they don't have enough otherworldly experience to be able to make that applicable to you. When I was talking to my daughter's client, she's the one who taught me how to write poetry, and she's an English teacher and an artist. So when I was giving her examples, I was using art examples and English examples because that's her area of expertise. If I'm talking to Kevin, I know Kevin speaks money, so I'm going to use money examples. If I'm talking to Envy, I'm going to use music and art because that is what Envy does, is draw and makes music. For Nola, I'm going to use a symbol. For Regina, I'm going to use education. For Lola, I'm going to use houses. So I speak all of your languages and I know enough information to be able to tell you what I'm talking about so that it applies to you. That's what real experts are supposed to be able to do. If I was talking to somebody in the music industry, if I was talking to somebody in sports, I'm going to use a sports example. If I'm talking to somebody that's a DJ, I'm going to use a DJ example. So and that's why I read so many different books. So when you are seeking wise counsel and experts, just because they're not in your industry, if they are who they say they are, they should be able to tailor that information enough for you to get it. Because the goal is to help you with what you're working on so that you can go off and be extraordinary. And that's my perspective, but I got another perspective as well. So hopefully, Lorenzo, you now understand what leveraging an expert is, and Envy, just start where you are and say, I'm working on this, help. I don't know what to ask you, but I know you got some information. So what you think about this? And then that conversation can go from there. So Dr. Donna's perspective is this: leveraging experts is not about weakness, it's about wisdom. Good morning, Sean. We're talking about leveraging experts. Leveraging experts is not about weakness, it's about wisdom. So real leaders understand that the brain is not designed to hold all answers, but to connect, collaborate, and integrate specialized knowledge. When you leverage experts, you expand your own neural networks through the lenses of someone else's mastery. So that's what you're doing. When you come here every morning, when you consume any of the content, you are leveraging me through my own mastery. Now, Dr. Donna emphasizes that real leadership means stepping beyond your ego. That's edging grayed out. No egos over here. Your insecurities, as you just mentioned, envy, and fear of judgment, to recognize the value of collective intelligence. And the strongest leaders do not try to be the smartest in the room. They strive to be the most resourceful. And that's what I am saying. I am resourceful, knowing how to draw upon expertise to achieve extraordinary results. And I was having this conversation with Lorenzo in the chat yesterday, is that I got 12,000 YouTube videos, and he said, you just got a bunch of dictionaries. And I have all these videos thanks to Nola, who said, ma'am, at that time, she was calling me ma'am. We have transitioned to Dr. Donna now because she's an adult. But the point is, she said, you're creating resources, just like the Sahara Library has all those books. People are going to start coming and they're going to need information. So yes, you only got 2 views on this video. Keep making it, keep making it, keep making it. And that's how now I'm at 12,000 videos and counting. So these resources are here because people learn differently. Some people need to read it, some people need to hear it, and some people need to see it, and some people need all of it, and that's why it's there available for you. The other reason why my channel is 12 years old, we looked at, I think it was last Wednesday or Thursday, we looked at me speaking live. And so if I say I was a public speaker, here's what I did, I don't do that anymore, and here's why not, there should be some evidence of that somewhere. And so those videos were 11 years old. I told you how I ended up speaking at that event and what that turned into, because now you can see it. You can see me having a conversation with business owners. I tell you, I used to advise business owners. There's proof of that. There's 241 business 101s. And every last one of those topics are different. So if you're starting out in business, hey, go look at the Business 101 playlist. Nola is using the 60-second strategy playlist to start learning how to do active listening. So that is the purpose, is that when you are an expert, you become this otherworldly expert, and there should be a lot of help and support, not the new program, not the new book with the new $5.99 program for 30 days and you can go take some coffee and bury it in the ocean somewhere. No, real things that you can actually use. So that's what a true expert is, that they have the ability to give you what you need because they got more. And Greater Than Yourself is one of the books. So I have so much to give that it ain't nothing for me. I ain't gatekeeping. 12,000 videos and counting. I can make 15 posts a day and post it and keep it pushing and not feel like, oh my God, I gave all my stuff away. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I got 86 billion neurons. I'm never running out of content. So the key takeaway is this: collaboration over competition. Experts are not threats to leadership. They are catalysts for growth. My objective is always to give you what you need for you to succeed where you are, so that you can pay it forward and give other people what they need to succeed, so that humanity is changed. Cognitive expansion. Leveraging experts rewires the brain by introducing new perspectives, pathways, and problem-solving strategies. It's rare that you leave a live, or you're in a challenge, or you go do something on now in the broadcast channel on Instagram, and you don't have this enlightened moment like, man, I never even thought about that. Man, you do that way? That's an interesting concept, because the goal is for you to go and withdraw new neurons, fire and wire, make synaptic connections, and then create these new neural pathways. And the only way to do that is to have a different, fresh perspective. And then third is the accountability in actions. Real leaders hold themselves personally accountable by knowing when to seek expertise, ensuring accuracy. That's what that trust but verify is. The effectiveness and the credibility of the person giving you the expert advice. Hence, experts, because I came across a lot of experts in my life. And real leaders don't fear experts, they leverage them. Every time you connect with an expert, you grow new neural pathways that expand your leadership capacity. So what questions do you have about leveraging experts? If it is clear, I will go to the brain bit for today. If you have any comments about an experience, but when I first started business with my sister way back in 2010, we ran across a whole bunch of experts, when she was in National Speakers Association, they literally told her, you only got to be one book ahead of your clients. That's why y'all can't learn shit. Because you only got to be one book ahead of your clients. And I listen to people in interviews, and I can tell how well read a person, an expert is in their interview by their vocabulary, their word choice, and how they answer questions. Because I'm a CIMT, which is a continuous improvement master trainer. So I have to evaluate people's, plus I'm a distinguished Toastmaster. So I have to evaluate people's speeches. So when someone is there and they're talking, they're being interviewed, I'm listening, not only for filler words, but I'm also listening to word choice and how they answer a question, the book that they said that they've read and why they've read those books. I do all of that. And before, it's interesting to watch people from back in 2016 when I was still following celebrities and experts, and to see them now, and I go, okay, yeah, nothing's changed. That's not good. You still the same. That's not a compliment. It's not a compliment at all. All right, so next is the brain bit, and today's brain bit is brain debt. Your brain could be in debt, and here's how you're about to find out why. So brain debt happens when you constantly withdraw from your brain's resources. So you're withdrawing from your focus, your memory, your attention, and your creativity. Now, the problem why it's a debt is because without making enough deposits of rest, learning, and reflection. So you are withdrawing, and that's messing up your focus, memory, attention, and creativity, because you are not getting enough rest, learning, and reflection. So the withdrawals show up as multitasking, which the brain cannot do. It can task jump, but it can't multitask. Stress, as soon as you're stressed, cortisol shows up in the limbic system, releases into the hippocampus, shows up in the prefrontal cortex, and now you got brain fog. Overcommitment, so you are saying yes more than you need to. 9 out of 10 times you need to be saying no to other people, and that means yes to yourself. So if you got 9 yeses going out and 1 no coming in, you are overcommitted. And then lack of sleep. That's all making withdrawals from your brain's bank. And now the deposits that you need to be making are deep focus, restorative sleep. And that means that you wake up and go to sleep based upon your adenosine cycles and not caffeine and Ambien. And then mindful breaks, which means when you are in your default mode network, you are on purpose thinking about yourself, doing something that's going to strengthen your prefrontal cortex. And then positive social connections. And when you don't have positive social connections, that's when you become stressed. That's when you become overcommitted. And that's when you have a lack of sleep, because you are in negativity biasville. And everybody around you is negative as shit and draining. And because you are the ones with the neural pathway, they are grabbing and taking and asking and everything. By the time you leave, you just like, now you can't sleep because everything that they said and did is in your head. You're ruminating all night. The left amygdala is going to make sure that you don't get a good night's rest. You're going to wake up, drink some caffeine. And now you're going to say, okay, and by 2 o'clock, you're going to drink some more caffeine. Now it's time to go to sleep. Now you're going to take an Ambien. And you're just going to mess up your whole sleep cycle. You're never going to get any rest. So just like financial debt, brain debt compounds over time. And if left unpaid, it shows up as brain fog, poor decisions, emotional reactivity, and burnout. That's why everybody needs a mental health day. That's why everybody's a mental health crisis. It is because everybody's in brain debt. And it's like, I'm going to take a mental health day. That ain't going to help. You got 5 years worth of burnout. 24 hours ain't going to undo all them damn neural pathways. Your brain is like, bullshit. You might as well go to work. You might as well just get up and go to work. Because a month ain't going to fix all of this if you're going to stay in the same situation. So real leaders pay down brain debt daily by practicing self-regulation, prioritization, and replenishing activities that wire the brain for resilience and growth. So brain debt, ever been in it? I have. Some of you might be in it now. Yep. And the symptoms are, again, multitasking, stress, overcommitment, and lack of sleep. If you got any of that, you are experiencing brain debt. And if you leave it unpaid, it's going to show up as brain fog, poor decision making, and emotional reactivity and burnout. In it now. In it now. And the only way to get out of it is daily practicing of self-regulation, prioritization, replenishing activities that wire the brain for resilience and growth. That's what's going to happen. So you are experiencing brain debt. And don't nobody care about your brain debt. They don't care. They're going to keep asking you. It's like when you get a credit card debt, which thank you to my marriage, 19 stacks almost, a credit card debt from I just always wanted. As a baby, I just always wanted. Baby, I just always wanted. I think that's why I hate Bay so much. It's too close to baby. I hear him, baby, I just wanted, I always wanted a saxophone. I just always wanted. I just always wanted a Benz. Yeah. Had to sell my damn house to get out of that damn debt. So what you selling to get out of this debt? How you going to get out of this debt? And I know the whole theory, and it's not a theory because I had to do it. But you pay the smallest card off first. And then you pay the next card off. And then you take that balance and pay that card off. And then or you do credit card consolidation. So y'all doing brain debt consolidation, or y'all going to handle this shit one brain debtor at a time. Call them up. Listen, you giving me brain debt. Cut the card up. That means cut their number up. Block them. I'm not messing with you no more. Get the hell away from me. You causing you making me lose neural cells, neurons. I'm over here losing neural pathways behind your ass. Look at what you're doing to my doggone brain. And it happens. And you can't see the brain. You can't touch the brain. So you think it's gonna be, you know what? It's just gonna be a little bit. No, it ain't. The brain is over here. The prefrontal cortex is like. And the amygdala is like, we got this. We up in here. Yup. We up in here, baby. Yeah. Bring it. Fight, flight, freeze, or peas up in this mofo. Yo, that's what's happening. That is what's happening. And you are over here trying to can't do nothing I'm telling you to do. Dr. Donna, I would, but no, because you got brain dead. When you ain't got no brain dead, you have no issue doing anything I'm saying. And I can't because you don't understand. I'm overwhelmed. I do understand. That's why I'm telling you to do it. I understand you in brain dead. That's why some of y'all got personal contacted messages from me. This is what you need to be doing so you can get out of brain dead. This is what you need to be doing. This is what you need to be doing. And Sean, you need to get into the Instagram group. You need to start. That is the pre-learning. You think you're doing this on your own? You can't do this on your own. Your own got you sitting right where you sitting right now. Your own best neurological decisions. Your own best neurological decisions. This ain't for me, this for you. I'm good. I slept like a baby last night. Sure did. Like a toddler, because the baby wakes up every 2 hours. Even after watching that game. I woke up at 2:47 this morning. I had stuff to do. Had some things that I need to take care of before. And plus I was like, dang, seemed like I could sleep better. When I knew I had to get up because I couldn't eat, I was like, oh, now you're going to wake up 13 minutes before your alarm. Got it. That's early in the morning. So brain debt, you got it. You got to get rid of it. You got to do something else. You have to combat it with some. And again, real leaders pay down brain debt daily by practicing self-regulation, prioritizing, and replenishing activities that wire the brain for resilience and growth. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead with your question. So I am not telling y'all to get in the Instagram group because I'm going to make $75 million off of y'all. That's not what that's there. It would take, so I don't even got enough followers for that. Every follower and their whole family will have to follow me in order for that to take place. But you need somewhere to go where you can bounce ideas off of each other, where you can actually say, okay, cool, I'm thinking about this. Because you get off the live and then you go back to your life. And that's it. If you're in a challenge, you might, if you're doing real leader resources, you do that, but you do not have the ability to say, okay, cool. I made all these videos. I put them in there. Yes, ma'am. That's what that means. Lola, if you are here, and I know you might be busy and listening, but if you could please chime in at this point. And yeah. So yes, you're going, let me explain. And now I'm having a hot flash because I'm hungry. Okay. So here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. You never had one before. Listen, let me tell you something. Lola never had nothing that she currently has starting in January. Lola got to me on LinkedIn, and that's where we started. That is where we started at, because that's where Lola was. So yes. So here is the thing, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to tell you to do things that make you extremely uncomfortable on purpose. Okay? My child is on here. She probably can tell you, yes, she is. And she does not care. You could cry. You could be like, oh, this is so hard. This is so difficult. She doesn't care because she understands that there is excellence inside of you. Set and maintain high standards. Kevin knows. He keep getting messages from me. I know he like, if she send me one more message, and I swear that Lorenzo was like, I got it. And Jessica isn't on here getting messages. Here she go again. She's showing up in TikTok. Now you're going to show up in Instagram. She's going to send me an email too. Okay, I got it. Because the reason why is because you have 86 billion neurons. And the only way you're going to start using them is if I challenge you. And now that is going to create a withdrawal from the hippocampus bank of neurons because you don't know how to do it. I'm doing it on purpose. I am. I'm making you uncomfortable on purpose. I'm doing it on purpose because that's where the growth is happening. That's where the growth is. Okay, I'm challenging you. Challenge, because y'all aren't at challenge yourself yet. When you get to challenge yourself, I won't have to challenge you no more, but you don't have that neural pathway. So in everything that I tell you to do, and Envy can attest to this, and Kevin can too with his 7 challenges, finishing self. Now he over here can't make a video no more. Anyway, I am challenging you because in having to make one video, in having to go do a 30-day turnaround risk challenge, you got to do all these things. Kevin has had to learn how to use KindMaster and all this other stuff. Nola has had to learn how to do so much it don't even make no sense. And Lola started where she was and now is doing so much. I'm doing it on purpose. If you ever had that teacher in class that challenged you to be extraordinary, he was like, I hate this teacher, but I love her at the same time. She get on my nerves. His homework was hard as hell, but damn. She get on my nerves. I know I'm getting on y'all nerves, but it's coming from a place of love and compassion And empathy, I understand. I was y'all briefly until I was me. Kevin, you was on the live, and Envy, you too. Did I do Envy? You've been around for a minute. Have I ever said share the live? Give me some roses. I need followers. I ain't never said that shit on no live ever. But TikTok, because I done told Kevin to go do some stuff, I got to go do some stuff that make me uncomfortable. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be on TikTok and there's 60 different metric system from now until November 23rd. I do not want to do that. I do not want to have 3 broadcast channels on Instagram. I don't. I want people to go on challenges. I tell you what to do and that's it. That was new. I know you over there like, what the fuck is she doing? But I told Kevin to go do something. So I'm like, if I'm going to go tell him to go do something that I don't feel like doing it and I don't like doing it. But that's because they did it wrong. So I got to do it right to show people how it's actually done, because somebody coming behind me is going to be like, yeah, but I like it. I want to be able to do it. Okay, cool. Here you go. This is how you get that done. That's how I ended up in most of the stuff I'm doing, because I knew somebody else was going to want to know how to do it and I was going to best it. So when I tell y'all to do something, I figured out the best way, because I was listening to the facts first and they was doing it wrong. So I had to listen to their system, do their fucked up system. It didn't work. Figure out how it could work for anybody and then tell you how to do it. So I just send you some stuff. Here, this is how you get that done. Here, this is how you get that done. But y'all never thought, how did I learn how to get it done? Well, my background is leadership, food and beverage in the Army. How I learned how to be a social media influencer. Anybody tell me? Not at all. So I am doing this on purpose. And yes, Sean, you need to set up an Instagram account and do that today. Because who else has challenged you to become your best? Please tell me. Name 5 people in your life that's challenging you to become your best. Your best. Not better, but best. Magnificent. 100%. Yes, ma'am. And I'm Turnaround Doctor on there. Or if you go to my website, theturnarounddoctor.com, it will show you. So I don't want to do this. I thought the neuroscientist, the psychiatrist, and the psychologist was doing this. I thought my job was going to be simple. I was just going to already take people who already know what's going on and take them from 70% to 100%. I did not know I was going to have to do all this. I don't know that I would have did it if I had known 12 years ago that this is where I was going to end up at. How much work? I mean, I still got my original BlackBerry, one of my original BlackBerries. I did not even want a smartphone. My BlackBerry fell in the toilet. That's how I ended up with a smartphone. I was crying. I was mad. I was like, man, I got to get rid of my BlackBerry. I got to get a smartphone. Why I got to get a smartphone? And now I'm over here like, and my phone got 128 gigs. I need a 256. I literally only have 16 gigs left in my phone for the amount of content that's in my phone, but I'm not spanning my social media accounts. Literally. Half of what's in there is video and audio, video, and photographics in my phone. Right. And so is Jessica. And so was Lola. And so what? And we old. And that's why we got to be able to do it, because you're over 35, and I know you are, Sean. Your working memory started atrophying at 35. And that means it might almost be on retirement, but you about to revive it, resuscitate it. I know how to use the defibrillator. I'm combat lifesaver certified and MAT team certified. Yep. I can talk about medical stuff too. I got stuck with an IV and stuck people with an IV. That's part of the criteria. Anyway, the point is I'm doing it on purpose. I am. I told you I got a 4.1 inch suede booty. It's an amazing shoe. I very rarely wear it, but I'm putting it on your neck on purpose because you can be best. I need some doggone peers. That's what I need. I need some intellectually people that are sound that I can have conversations with, because we're all at the same neurological level. This ain't about no damn money. This is about neuroscience. I need peers. And so I'm going to have to create them. Because it's not happening. People sitting in front of the damn TV zoning out over some fucking football, watching. I ain't never been a cheerleader. I used to throw shit at the cheerleaders when they was at the game. I was like, get the fuck out the way. Why y'all go when you can throw? Why you gonna cheer somebody else on? And I ain't saying you can't empower somebody, but don't be on the sideline. We can beat them and beat them. Look at the boy. We want some more. We gonna walk over one like we walk over one. And yeah. No, absolutely not. Somebody asked me, was I going to let my daughter be a cheerleader? I said, over my dead body. Hell no. Absolutely not. No. No way. So anyway, empowering somebody and giving them what they need to succeed is not the same as, I'm cheering for you. I'm rooting for you. I'm not. I'm demanding excellence from all of you. You didn't show up I didn't come knocking on your home door. I'm not where nobody is. Y'all showed up at my virtual door. And it is my responsibility to say excellence. Excellence always is what we said as a military police officer in the Army. And you got excellence inside of you. You got 86 billion neurons. And I'm going to make sure you use all of them. Unless you block me. And then that's on you. And then you got to deal with you and your higher power should you choose to believe in one. But don't be complaining after the fact. Well, I can't do you can't because you ain't got no damn neural pathways. That's why it's not happening. That's why it's not happening. So my point is, in summary, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to go live twice. Me and Envy was on live yesterday with us for an hour and like 15 minutes. Envy got there late, but over an hour. I had already did an hour and 15 minutes for YouTube. Going to be an hour today with Nola this afternoon. I don't want to do this. I don't. I want people to be empowered. I don't like how I got to get it done, though. I'm like, dang, God, we ain't got a better method. Like, email works. I like email. Only I got to be live. I got to get up. I'd start getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to prepare for these lives. Who the hell wants to? I like it when you all get a result. I'm like, dang, see, this is why it's worth it. But enjoy it every day. Enjoy it. That's not the category. It's the calling. It's my life's purpose. And some days it's wonderful. And some days I get up like my body hurts from what I did in the Army. And I just get up. I'm like, okay, cool. Sitting here. By the time I get up to this live, my knees are numb. But y'all don't need to hear that. So I get up, I stretch. That's why I take a hot shower after. And then I go help my child for 6 to 8 hours a day sometimes. Sometimes 12. And then I read and then I get back up and do it again. So I don't want to hear no excuses from y'all. Ain't nobody got no excuse. Ain't nobody busier than me. Ain't nobody got more to do than me on a given day without no help. Because that's what Lorenzo said. You got 12,000 videos. You did that yourself. I sure did myself with a little bit of help from my daughter when I didn't know how to edit videos. But she didn't make the content. She just edited it. She had ideas for it. I did. So I don't want to hear about what y'all can't do. Can makes the impossible possible. That's why it's one of the 74 principles of real leadership. When you get a message from me, you need to say, yes, ma'am. Aye, Captain. Yes, Captain Thomas. Got it, Dr. Donna. Say less. Ain't nobody told me that. Say less, Doc. I got this. I ain't do this. You're like, oh, what part, Dr. Donna? I'm sending screenshots. Turn here. Do this. Watch. Do that. Come on now. In the midst of everything else. And I will do it. Because you will become extraordinary. That Denzel Washington sound, we will be perfect in every form and every. Yes, you're going to be the best. You ain't got no choice. You asked a higher power for something bigger and better and bolder and badder. And it came packaged like this. And you said, no. I wanted to be a man. I wanted to be it's me. I look like my daddy. Hopefully that's close enough for you. It don't come packaged like you want it to. It don't. It never comes. The blessings don't come packaged like you think. Sometimes they show up like problems, piles of shit show palooza. But I'm here and I'm telling you it's possible. I walk the walk. I don't talk the talk. I am like that. I am. Google me. Okay. I probably didn't did it. Or as I said before, being an expert, I'm going to get to the resource faster. I'm be able to tell you what you need to do faster than anybody else. I'm slick with it. Thanks to the internet. But y'all going to be extraordinary. So you get another message from me, do what the hell I'm saying. I'm doing it on purpose. I know it's tough. Got it. I tell you what, you want to switch places? Anybody want to switch places with me? Since you're so overwhelmed, anybody want to come? Huh? You want to come to Las Vegas for a minute and do me for a week? You know, they have wife swap, real leader swap. Let's swap places. Anyone, go ahead, raise your hand. Raise your hand. Get your emoji hand. Sean, that's not your emoji hand. That's it. No, ma'am. I do look like my dad. I look exactly like my dad. I look exactly like my father. 100%. I do look like Leslie Darnell. I can show it on the live on TikTok because if I'm so scared to change this background in YouTube after I did that green screen for a whole hour. You just have cheekbones. It's normal. If I took this wig off and put my daddy's photo next to me, we look like brothers. So, and it's pictures. It's on Instagram on my subscriptions. I don't have my wig on several of those things. Yes, they do. So, yeah. And again, if my head was like Kevin's, I would not wear wigs. But because it is actually alopecia, the hyperpigmentation bothers me. It don't bother y'all. It bothers me because I will have to look at it. Hence the head tattoo. Because I'm sick of wearing wigs after 21 years. I got to do something. I want a different option. Okay. So what did you learn today? What did you learn about yourself and your brain conversation from yesterday? So we can get on out of here and I can go give these people this blood. That sound bad. I can go. That sounds like, yes, I can go get my blood work done for this. And the other thing I got to do that I'm going to start crying is I got to admit that my body ain't the same as it was because of the military. Nola has been telling me you're disabled, you're disabled, you're disabled. I'm like, fuck you. I'm not disabled. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I bind it in the name of Jesus and all this shit. I go get my medical exam and he like, move your ankle. I'm like, what? Do what with it? At one point he said, do so. I said, are you serious? Turn which way? Today? Without turning around? All my joints are fucked up. I don't have a good joint on me. I would need reefer. I would need a joint to have a good joint. None of them work like they supposed to. Not a one. And not even bad. Then they have the rating. They go green is bad, yellow is okay, red means you good. Nola told me you forest green. None of your stuff works. You are. I had no idea. And even talking to one of her clients, she was like, it's just the word. It's just the word. It's just the word. I'm like, I ain't disabled. Fuck y'all. I'm not. And then Nola said, okay, do this, do this, do this. And then I said, fuck you again. Because I am. So I got to accept that. I got to do that too. I got to do that as well. You understand what I'm saying? So we do what we have to do what we want to. I want y'all to be successful. I want y'all to be the best. But I got to be honest. I got to be transparent. I do have to do that. So every message I send you, every live, I'm doing it on purpose so you can become your best. That's what I'm doing. So I am applying pressure on purpose, 1,000%. But if I tell you, when you do your Real Leader Challenge, and when you do your Real Leader resources, you're going to be using this many brain regions and this many synaptic connections, it's going to scare the shit out of you even more. So I just say, go do this. And next thing you know, you got 5 other new skills because you went to go do this one thing. That's what that is. So Kevin says, so you're saying, what did I learn today? What did I learn about myself? And what brain conversation I had? And if you didn't have a brain conversation yesterday, I want to know why. Why didn't you have a brain conversation? Kevin, today I learned that you have to leverage the experts to grow. Yes. Sean said, today I learned that Dr. Donna has put her foot on my neck with the challenge. I got to create Instagram and I will do too. Yes. So this is about you becoming extraordinary. That's what it's about. For real. Like extraordinary. Bad mofo mission. Point blank period. What mission you on? I'm on a mission, just like Blues Brothers. Remember they said they was on a mission from God? You are on a mission to become a bad mofo. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to be my best. I'm using all 86 billion of my neurons to make 860 trillion synaptic connections or more. That's what I'm doing. I'm using my brain every day until the day after I'm no longer here. So what did you learn today? And if you are thinking ... brain or a thinking emoji so that I know the chat is still enabled enabled, not disabled. That's me. I'm going to get it. It's just a word. It's just a word. It's hard as hell to tell somebody that you all hooah, and now you can't lift your fucking shoulder up. Your arm. I can't even I can't use my ankles properly. And because I was stretching the other way, I just started using all my muscles. But my joints are shot. Kevin said, myself, I'm glad I'm not the only person getting the pressure emails. They are not pressure emails, okay? They are empowering messages that will give you the ability to create new neural pathways in your amazing brain. Be fair is one of the 74 principles of real leadership, Kevin. So that's why y'all need the group on Instagram. There will be no Dr. Donna bashing because I'm still in the group. But y'all will understand. What did she send you? What did you get? You got a message too? Oh, y'all thought y'all was the only one. And everybody like, I got a message too. She telling me, she challenging me. She holding me accountable through emails and messages. Slow cooker. Okay. Envy said, I learned, hold up. Okay, Envy said, learn, I've got an opportunity to ask experts today at school, what do you mean by brain conversion? 86 billion neurons is how many neurons you have. And each neuron has the ability to make 10,000 synaptic connections. So when you do that, you have the ability to make 860 trillion synaptic connections, neural pathways. Basically, a neural pathway is basically a habit. So the skills and the habits that you have, the pathways are how you do it, and that's what's located in your basal ganglia and the hippocampus throughout your brain. So if you don't have the neural pathway, like I didn't have the neural pathway to understand neuroscience this time last year, as you know, Emmy. So I do now. So all of the information that I have about the brain are all new neural pathways because I had to create them. Nola, I learned about myself. I have no problem leveraging experts now and do it a lot throughout the day. Yes. And Lorenzo said, I'm a cooker. I learned check experts on LinkedIn. Nola, I get her in person, is what Nola's saying. We talked about how my brain has neuropability and I have grown past my current level and am now prepared for my next sigmoid curve. That is correct. So what brain conversations did y'all have yesterday? And if you didn't have a brain conversation yesterday, answer, and be honest about why you did not. Brain talk, had it yesterday with my Sunday workout team. And how'd you feel, Kevin? And not after the workout, but having the conversation. Because it's going to be challenging for y'all to start talking about the brain. The amygdala is going to try to talk y'all out of it, especially the left one. The right one's going to be like, yeah. But the left one's going to be like, you know you can't talk. You know your vocabulary is terrible. You know you stutter. You know you say too much. I did not. I was with family. That's the perfect time to have the brain conversation, Sean. Perfect time. Being uncomfortable is part of the process. And instead of saying uncomfortable, because the brain can, uncomfortable means that the amygdala is being notified. But when you say discomfort, everybody say discomfort. The right and left amygdala don't know how to process that because most people say I'm uncomfortable. Nobody says I'm experiencing discomfort right now. This is making me discomfortable. No one says that. People say I'm uncomfortable. I want to be comfortable. I'm uncomfortable. But discomfort, it has no registration. The hippocampus doesn't have it. No one knows what's taking place. So yeah, so discomfort. Yes. And it's actually cognitive overload. I'm doing it on purpose. I'm doing just enough where you can feel it, but then you can still process it and do what is being asked of you or commanded of you. I didn't have a brain conversation yesterday. No reasons besides I didn't think about my brain though. I did, yes. And so these brain conversations, it's basically what you're doing. Felt like I was in my purse, in my bag. Got it. The brain conversations are notifying people for them to start thinking about their brain because no one is really thinking about their brain. And so now people will start to think about, well, dang, I can't see my brain. You're right, I can't touch my brain. You mean what? You said I got 86 billion neurons, and some studies say up to 100 billion. The point is, you got more than 6 neurons that are in your brain that you can use and leverage on a day-to-day basis. So with that being said, thank you for your time. You need to have a brain conversation with someone. You can have it online. If you find yourself sitting by yourself all day long, go make a comment about the brain on somebody else's comment and see what they say. I've already done that already. Just be interested to see what happens. I felt like it was in my purpose. I thought you were saying your bag, but I got it. Purpose too. Yeah, both resonate. So just comment on someone's social media post. Don't go spamming them, but just make a comment based upon neuroscience. Just say, oh, why do you think this is happening? Oh, I think this is happening because this is what takes place in the brain. Drop it in the comments. And even if you have to consult chat first, drop it in the comments and then see what people say. It'll change the whole trajectory of the chat. I will say that. Sean said they were stuck on football, really wasn't thinking, just cooking dinner. Okay, well, that's why you got to get in Instagram because you got to start thinking about it. Okay? Because I was nice. I thought the neuroscientists and everybody was doing their job and they weren't. And so I upped my ante. One thing Nola can tell you is if I up my ante, you're going to up your ante. Otherwise, the gap between us is going to get wider and wider and wider and wider. So Kevin made it. So if y'all want to blame somebody, blame Kevin. Kevin, like, don't blame me. You the one sent the daggone message. How you gonna blame me? Credit and blame. Credit and blame. That's what unaccountable people do. No, I told Kevin to do something, and then I sat at my desk, and then I got told by my higher power, oh, so you're gonna tell him to do something, and then you're gonna sit in your look sound like you in a comfort cocoon. You stop screen time. Guess you got time to go live now, don't you? You got more time because you got no screen time. Don't keep listening to this damn Tibetan music. Now, what you gonna do about that? And you gonna do a challenge. What? Yeah, you always telling everybody else to do a challenge. Get your ass in a challenge. Bet. And message Kevin and let him know you about to go live. Got it. Kevin, I am going live right now. Yeah, join if you can. I'm so excited about saying share the live and give me roses and follow me. This is awesome. Yeah. And I'm going to eat oatmeal with bad manners. Yeah, all that. So here we are. And this afternoon, I have the opportunity to have a live with my child. It just gets better and better. So don't think that there isn't a nice little foot on my neck, too. It is. It is pressing way harder. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got to get out of here. I got to go over here and get this folks my little small anemic blood so they can believe that I'm anemic. I don't know how you lie about anemia, but okay. Here we go. Anyway, you all go off and have a great, there will be a pop quiz this week. I'm not saying what day it is, so mentally prepare yourself for a pop quiz. That's what teachers announced on Monday, that there will be a pop quiz. Okay, you all go off. I will be back tomorrow. Higher power, God, and the universe willing. Same time, same place, safe space, different brain t-shirt. Go over here, go over to Instagram and interact with your battle buddies as you get large and in charge and try to take over Captain Thomas. No. It will be an Instagram, Lola. It will be an Instagram, and it will be this evening. So I believe you have set up your Instagram account. So it will be, yes, it will be interesting. Because we have never done this before. So I am once again outside of my comfort zone. Outside of my comfort zone. But feel free inside of the Real Leader broadcast on Instagram to interact with one another. Again, that's what that's there for. Every 90 days, Instagram makes me change it, and I got to have a new prompt. But for the next, I think we're about 70 days left on that. And so the goal is, again, to use that platform in a way that it is not being used. That's not how subscriptions work on Instagram. That's not how the broadcast channels work. Y'all know me. I'm going to do it way different than it was designed because it needs to be a disruptive, or I ain't going to stick with it. Okay, so again, we will be live later today after Nola's afternoon doctor appointment, and we will be discussing the first principle of real leadership that she did not use, which is embrace change. No, she didn't. No, she didn't. She did not. Not her thing at all. All right. For those of you who are available, tune in. And if not, I will be back, God willing, higher power in the universe tomorrow. Take care. I think we had an effective live today. Adios.